Hello there everybody, how is it going and how have you been? I am EuclideanSqd, and we're back here in Duel Links to check out two events this time, Alluring Alexis and welcome to Duel Academy, Duelist Chronicles GX. Now, right off the bat, I just want to say, I know that both of these events have been going for a few days. I've just been kind of busy, and especially with Alluring Alexis, it's taken a while to try and work out a farming deck that kind of works against her, so I know there's only like 2 days left for both events, but this is kind of the soonest I could get a video out, and I figure might as well just cover them both in the same video, because I'm not going to be doing that much with Duelist Chronicles anyway. So, let's go ahead and start with the greater of two evils here with Alluring Alexis. And part of why I say that is that, aside from being a roaming event character, which are kind of my least favorite events of all, just because it's just so annoying waiting for them to respawn and then they never want to give you the event exclusive cards and so on. Alluring Alexis actually has a ridiculously hard deck to farm against. She has a bunch of Cyber Angels, which are incredibly powerful ritual monsters, and she has at least 5 different ritual spells that she can use to summon any one of them. And if even one of them goes through, you're pretty much done. So with that said, this is about the best farming deck I could scrounge together. The original recipe is over on the Duel Links meta website, and as usual, a link to that will be down in the description below. But you will notice right off the bat that there are quite a few super rares and ultra rares in this deck. This is about the cheapest as I could possibly make it, simply because you need this sort of firepower to deal with her deck. And additionally, any sort of cheaper recipes, I just didn't have the duelist skills necessary to make them work. Which leads me to another point, in that some of the best skills for GX, or some of the best skills for events like this, I should say, like Restart, or I think specifically there's a Euclidean farming deck available, but it needed Fairy Smile as a skill, which only one character in GX can get, and that's only a drop skill, is actually for that very reason. All of the good farming skills are drop skills for GX characters, which means that you just have to get lucky and get them as a reward after beating another legendary duelist. So I'm lucky enough for my Crawler to have Restart. If you don't have Restart, this is going to be a lot rougher of an event for you, and I want to apologize right off the bat for that. You will probably see why when we get into the farming duel. But to start with, the general strategy of this deck is to fusion summon Dark Paladin as soon as you possibly can, because Dark Paladin will let you negate her ritual spells and keep her from summoning any Cyber Angels. But, that being said, just creating Dark Paladin isn't enough to guarantee victory, because in order to negate Alexis's ritual spells, you have to discard a card from your hand. And consequently, there are times where Alexis will just simply have more ritual spells than you have cards in your hand. And there have been times where she has activated 3 of them in one turn, burned through my entire hand, summoned the Cyber Angel anyway, and then proceeded to kick my ass. So, even getting Dark Paladin out is not a guarantee of victory. Hopefully it is. Hopefully she doesn't have a hand packed full of ritual spells when we try to farm against her, but I don't know. Sometimes it's been easy, sometimes she's just destroyed me in turn 1. But anyway. Now, to that end of fusion summoning Dark Paladin, we have 2 Buster Bladers and 3 Dark Magicians, which are the basic fusion requirements. Then we also have some Goddesses with the Third Eye, which are fusion substitutes, as well as King of the Swamp, which can also act as a fusion substitute. So in other words, if I only have a Buster Blader or a Dark Magician in my hand, either of these monsters can sub in for the other one and create Dark Paladin. King of the Swamp is particularly useful because I can discard him to search out a polymerization from my deck. I believe the original recipe had 3 of them, but I only have the 1, so I'm having to make do. And that leads me to the other fusion monster, Dark Flare Knight. Now, ideally you would have another Dark Paladin, simply because that is a monster that you can put out on the field and not really have to worry about protecting it all, unlike Dark Flare Knight, which Alexis can actually just defeat, and I'll get into that more during the duel. But basically, if you have to resort to using Dark Flare Knight, you will have to carry quite a few more cards into the last turn. Thankfully, Alexis does not have any sort of spell trap destruction. Excuse me. Well, okay, she does have a little bit, but it's all bound to her ritual monsters, so as long as you can keep those away, you don't have to worry about it. But basically, long story short, if you need to save a card or two from your hand, just go ahead and set any sort of essential spells, and Alexis should just leave them alone. At least for the most part. But otherwise, the last turn strategy is going to be the usual Gravekeeper's Vassal, Secret Pass, and Union attack combination. And you will note that unlike previous decks, I have 3 Union attacks. 3 is absolutely required if you want to do over 10,000 damage. Not because your fusion monsters are going to be too weak, but because Alexis actually has a counter trap card that will negate one of these 3 Union attacks when you try to use it. It's actually kind of rare for her to use it against any other spell. I don't think I've ever seen her really do that. I've seen her, the level 30 Alluring Alexis, use that counter trap against other spells, but the level 41 never seems to want to do it, so I'm not entirely sure why. But yeah, basically, if you don't have 3 Union attacks, you're probably not going to be able to do over 10,000 damage. You could try bringing in some spell trap destruction of your own, like a Galaxy Cyclone or a Cosmic Cyclone, and hopefully hit the right face down. But there is another trap card that she can set, so it's not a guarantee that you'll even hit the counter trap in the first place. And then other than that, we have some Emblem of the Dragon Destroyers, which will let you search out Buster Bladers from your deck. Great thinning. And as a replacement for a King of the Swamp, I've gone with a Fusion Recycling Plant. And I actually recommend taking one of these along instead of 3 King of the Swamps if you happen to have them, simply because a Fusion Recycling Plant will let you recover polymerizations from your graveyard. This can be pretty useful because there might be times where you're faced with the choice of either tossing away an essential spell card to have Dark Paladin negate one of her ritual spells, or just letting her finish the ritual spell and then destroying you anyway. So if you do have to throw away a polymerization, Fusion Recycling Plant will at least allow you to recover it, whereas King of the Swamp can only pull from your deck. And kind of an extension of that, Pot of Benevolence will let you recover something like a Union attack or a Vassal if you had to sacrifice one of those to keep your ritual monsters away. Ideally, you will want to use Pot of Benevolence to put cards back into her deck. She does have quite a bit of draw power, so it is possible she may get ahead of you in cards, and Pot of Benevolence can kind of balance that back out. But in case of emergency, if you do have to throw away a last turn card, Pot of Benevolence can recover that for you. The other advantage to Fusion Recycling Plant, actually, is that during the end phase of any turn that you do Fusion Summon, Fusion Recycling Plant will let you recover one of the monsters that you used in that Fusion Summoning to your hand. So, for example, if I used a Dark Magician and a Goddess with the Third Eye to create Dark Paladin, Fusion Recycling Plant would let me recover one of those back to my hand for use again later. This actually does combo very well with Dark Paladin, because that is another card for you to use to block her ritual spells. You can use it to recover a Dark Magician that you can then later use for a Dark Flare Knight. You can recover one of your fusion substitutes for Dark Flare Knight. It's actually quite nice. So I would recommend taking along at least one of these instead of just 3 King of the Swamps, but whatever you've got, use it because you will need it. So, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at her reward cards, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, but it feels like a lot of Alluring Alexis's rewards are just copies of her normal rewards, and I honestly can't remember if that's how most roaming event duelists are, or if I'm just misremembering things. It could be either one. But basically, the event exclusive cards to start with is the Inferno Hammer, a level 6 Dark Fiend with 2400 attack and 0 defense. When this card destroys your opponent's monster and sends it to the graveyard as a result of battle, you can select one face-up monster on your opponent's side of the field and flip it into face-down defense position. Kind of a weird monster. Might be useful to just shut off some annoying effects, or possibly force something face down and destroy its equipment or something, but it's a level 6, so not the easiest thing to summon. Also not entirely sure why she has it, because I don't think she ever used it during the anime, but anyway. Moving on. This one is actually kind of nice. This is the counter trap actually that she can use to screw you over with your Union attacks. Spell Shield type 8. When you activate it, you can pick one of these effects, or actually it basically has two activation effects. First, when a spell card is activated that negates exactly one, or that targets exactly one monster on the field, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Or, when any spell card is activated, you can send a spell card from your hand to the graveyard to negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So, that second effect is what could possibly save you if you only have 2 union attacks. She might just want to negate one of your spells just so that you can't use it. I don't think I've ever seen the level 40 activate that secondary effect. She always seems to want to save it for the first effect. But then again, it's also possible that she's only drawing it after I'm done playing spells for a while and she just doesn't want to use it. But yeah, that's Spell Shield Type 8. This is actually pretty cool because this card was restricted to like... Actually, I think it's just a level up reward from... You only get 1 as a level up reward for regular Alexis. So being able to win more against Event Alexis is actually kind of cool. Moving on, the other event super rare is Merciful Machine Angel. You tribute 1 Cyber Angel ritual monster from your hand or field, draw 2 cards, then place a card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. For the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except ritual monsters, and you can only activate 1 Merciful Machine Angel per turn. Now, this is particularly strong, especially for Cyber Angels, because a lot of them have effects that activate when they are tributed, and that seems to be the general thing with them, is that you would want to, like, tribute one of them in the ritual summoning of another so that effects start to chain together. In fact, for example, this rare, Cyber Angel Benton, says that if this card is tributed, you can add a Light Fairy type monster from your deck to your hand. So, for example, you could use Merciful Machine Angel, tribute Benton, you'd get 2 cards, you would have to return something to your deck, but then Benton would let you add any Light Fairy type monster from your deck to your hand. So you could just return a Light Fairy, add it right back to your hand with Benton's effect. Likewise... Oh no, Dakini does not have an effect when it's tributed, but there is another Cyber Angel, Iditen, I think is its name, and that one just like gives all of your ritual monsters 1,000 extra attack points when it's tributed, and that one's the dangerous one. Simply because, you know, you tribute it for the ritual, summon your other Cyber Angel, and then suddenly Iditen gives it 1,000 extra attack points and makes it that much scarier. But moving on, this ultra rare is the final event exclusive card, Cyber Angel Izana, a level 8 Light Fairy ritual with 2,500 attack and 2,600 defense. You can ritual summon this card with Machine Angel Ritual. If this card is ritual summoned, you can make your opponent send 1 spell trap they control to the graveyard. I might be wrong. Aside from the Spell Shield Type 8, which can only activate when you actually activate a spell, I think Izana is Alluring Alexis' only means of spell trap removal. I think. I'm pretty sure none of our other monsters have it, so... Actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure Izana is her only spell trap removal outside of the Spell Shield, so anyway. When this attacking card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can activate this effect. This card can make a second attack on an opponent's monster in a row. So effectively gets to attack 2 monsters per turn, though it can't do a direct attack with the second one. And finally, once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a Cyber Angel ritual monster you control, as a quick effect, you can shuffle 1 ritual monster from your graveyard into the deck, and if you do, destroy 1 card your opponent controls. So, basically, if you ever try to target Izana with something, like enemy controller, dimensional prison, something like that, she can just shuffle a ritual monster from her graveyard into the deck, like the Benton or the Iditen that you probably attributed to ritual summon it, and then just blow up something of yours. That's the cost, is putting stuff back into her deck for her to use. That's the kind of brokenness that these Cyber Angels are. And in fact, Dakini here is actually on the Limited 2 list, and she has been for a year just because they're that broken. So, let's go ahead and have a farming duel, and hopefully we get lucky. In case you can't tell, I'm really not a fan of this event. If they have it again, I really hope that they nerf her deck a little bit. It doesn't even have to be that serious, just don't give her 5 or 6 ritual spells. That's just ridiculous. Like 4 max. 4 max. I didn't see. Am I going first? I didn't notice if I was going first or not. Actually, I am going first because it says that my draws happen before her draws, so this is why I have restart. Why I'm so glad that I got lucky enough to draw it. And absolutely awful starting hand, so I'm probably going to lose. Oh, look at that, ritual summon on the first turn. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, is in terms of just non-ritual monsters she can summon, there is Gemini Elf, which is a 1900 attack point 4-star. That is why you do not want to summon Dark Flare Knight until the end of the duel, just because Gemini Elf will just annihilate it if you keep it in defense mode. And no, you don't want to put it in attack mode because she has another monster called Cyber Gymnast. At least I think that's its name. And Cyber Gymnast's effect says that once per turn, you can target one of your opponent's monsters that is in attack position and destroy it. So specifically, when you do fusion summon Dark Paladin successfully, unlike I have done, you will want to put it in defense mode so that she can't just annihilate it with Cyber Gymnast. Dark Paladin has 2400 defense, so she can't destroy it with Gemini Elf, and you're basically relying on Dark Paladin to just keep her at bay and negate her ritual spells until the end of the duel. That is not what happened at all. And unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to get a second attempt at dueling her. So, well, alright, I'm going to make a cut real quick. I'm going to go do a couple of duels. I'm going to see if she respawns, but if not, we'll just move on to the Duelist Chronicles. So, I will see you guys in a moment either way. Okay, we're back, and clearly this event hates me just as much as I hate it. So, just so you guys know, it has been 13 minutes since the last duel. I have dueled 8 times to make Alluring Alexis respawn, and she has respawned at the incorrect level. So, even though this deck is not that suited for a level 30, it's still pretty good. The level 30 and the level 40 are fairly similar decks in terms of what they want to do. I'm going to go ahead and have another duel just so that you can see what you're supposed to do with this deck. Hopefully it goes a little bit better, but I honestly don't know. The RNG has just been kind of spitting in my face today, so I'm going to say no on the skill. Hopefully I draw polymerization. The level 30 deck is not nearly as aggro as the level 40 is, so I can hopefully survive a turn or two. I'm going to go ahead and just pull the other Buster Blader out of my deck to thin it out a little bit more. Doesn't seem that keen. Oh, here comes a Cyber Angel. Hit a 10. Okay, this one only has 1600 attack. That's not that bad. Come on, polymerization. Thank you! Alright, so I don't think the level 40 deck actually has Ita-10 in it. I think she's got Benton, Dakinis, and Azanas in the level 40 deck. But basically, this is what you're supposed to be doing. You need to fusion summon Dark Paladin in defense mode, again, so that her Cyber Gymnast cannot just destroy it with its effect. And now you just kind of turtle here, negating every single one of her ritual spells that she tries to activate. You can go ahead and ignore the Merciful Machine Angels. I'm not sure why you're doing that. Level 40 does not have fulfillment of the contract, so here we go. This is a ritual spell, and I'm not having you activate it. There we go. Yeah, basically ignoring some of the specifics of what the level 30 Alluring Alexis is doing, this is what you want to do, is just negate every single one of her ritual spells and just pass the turns. If this was a level 40, she would most likely be using them a little bit more frequently. I think the 30 only has 3 or 4 ritual spells, unlike the 5 or 6 that the 41 has, but anyway. So, just keep passing the turns. You can go ahead and activate Fusion Recycling Plant. Oh, and that prompted her Spell Shield. Alright. Fair enough. Don't have to worry about it with the Union attacks at least. So maybe level 40 will activate Spell Shield Type 8 in response to Fusion Recycling Plant. I don't know. No, I'm going to use the King of the Swamp to do what I wanted to do with Fusion Recycling Plant and search the other polymerization from my deck. Let's see here. What have you got here? Nothing that fantastic. So, the level 40 does not have a Cyber Petite Angel, so I'm going to ignore this card. But these two ritual spells are ones you will find in the level 40 deck. So, Sprite's Blessing is a ritual spell that can be used for any light ritual monster, with the condition that you can't go over the level of the ritual monster like you could with its native ritual spell. You have to tribute monsters that exactly match its level. So let's say that she has a level 8 ritual monster. If you were to use the normal ritual it requires, you could tribute monsters that add up to 9 or 10 or whatever. With Sprite's Blessing, it has to be 8. So that is a small limit to what she can use it for. But that being said, I'm pretty sure that level 40 has multiple copies of Izana, Dakini, and Benton, so she could just tribute one for the other and that would count. But yeah, Sprite's Blessing is basically a wildcard ritual spell, as are the Machine Angel Ritual and Machine Angel Absolute Ritual that she has. These are used to ritual summon any Cyber Angel ritual monster, so it works with all of them. You have to tribute monsters from your hand or field. Well, for Machine Angel Absolute Ritual, you can either tribute monsters from your hand or field, and or shuffle fairy or warrior type monsters from your graveyard into the deck whose total levels exactly equal the level of the ritual monster you want to ritual summon. So, okay, Absolute Angel does require the ritual monster's level to be matched exactly. But it also has that annoying secondary effect of letting her return stuff from her graveyard into the deck to count as the tributes. So that's kind of infuriating, because even if she does throw away a Cyber Angel with Merciful Machine Angel, that's what it's called, right? Yeah. Even if she throws away a Cyber Angel with this card, she could then just use this ritual spell, return it to the deck, and it counts as progress for the ritual of whatever she's trying to summon anyway. I don't quite remember what the third ritual spell... Oh, there it is. Machine Angel Ritual. So this is the third type of ritual spell she can use. It is also used to ritual summon any Cyber Angel ritual monster, so yes, any of her 3 ritual spells can be used for any of her ritual monsters. And you must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. So this one works a little bit more like a traditional ritual spell, good lord. Additionally, if a light monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card instead. With the Dark Paladin strategy, you don't have to worry about that, because you're not really going to be attacking her light monsters anyway. Let's go ahead and toss a spare polymerization to block this one. An itch on my nose. But yeah, those are the 3 types of ritual spells that the level 40 has. I believe she has 2 Sprite's Blessings, she has 2, I want to say 2 Absolute Rituals, and 1 Machine Angel Ritual? So maybe she only has 5. I can't remember. There's times where she just plays them so fast, it's like, okay, well, that's your second ritual spell in this turn. Right at the beginning of the duel, I don't have any more cards I can use to block you, so I lose. Anyway, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and set a Union attack. Keep that in reserve. And yeah, so level 30 or level 40, this is what the farming strategy is supposed to work like. Again, the beginning of the duel is going to be the scariest. Just, again, even if you get Dark Paladin out, depending on what you draw from your deck, you might have to throw away something valuable to block a ritual spell. Depending on what she draws from her deck, she could activate 3 damn ritual spells in the same turn. So it's very luck-based, and I honestly don't really like that. And I get that it's a card game, and there is just that element of luck. I'm going to go ahead and toss a Union attack. I don't need 3. She's already wasted her spell shield, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, like I know that this is a card game, so there is always going to be an element of luck, but at the same time, it's like, how are you supposed to block 5 ritual spells otherwise? I mean, there's that trap card, Ritual Buster, which you can use to just destroy a face-up ritual monster. But if it's Izana, she can just destroy something of yours in the process. You know? I'm trying to think of any other easy ways. Like, I mean, there's technically a counter trap card called Cursed Seal of the Forbidden Spell. And when you activate it, you have to discard. You activate it in response to your opponent activating a spell. You have to discard a spell of your own from your hand, and that will not only negate your opponent's spell, but also prevent them from ever activating a spell with that name for the rest of the duel. So that could work, but again, she has 3 different ritual spells. So unless you manage to get all 3 of your cursed seals before she gets, you know, each new version of a ritual spell, that's not really going to work. Plus, you're going to have to throw away a spell card every time. I mean, overall, the cost will be somewhat lower than Dark Paladin, simply because you're not negating every single one. You only have to negate 3 total. But I don't know. It's just... It doesn't seem as broken as that Epic Yami, where he could just, like, swarm the field with Dark Magicians just to a ridiculous degree. But I'm still not a fan of this deck of Alluring Alexis. Again, if she comes back, I really hope that they nerf her deck and just reduce the amount of ritual spells that you have to deal with. But yeah, anyway, so what you just saw is the last turn procedures. And this is something you will want to do for the level 40. Play Vassal first, and then start activating the Union attacks. The level 40 will likely still have the Spell Shield type 8, so you know, you're using one of your Union attacks to bait that out and protect the more important Secret Pass or Polymerization. But then, yeah, you target Vassal with the 2 Union attacks, you use Secret Pass, you fusion summon your Dark Flare Knight if you don't have a second Dark Paladin that you can just keep in defense mode for the rest of the duel. And go to battle phase and attack for over 10,000. There you go. So I won, but I still don't feel happy about it. There's 13 minutes and 8 duels to make her respawn, and I get a level 30, which gives me garbage. Anyway, that is all for the Alluring Alexis event. To move on, we are going to take a look at the Duelist Chronicles. Now, I'm not going to go super in-depth with this just because there's been so many Duelist Chronicles overall, but basically, the way that this event works, as you duel normally, you win these things called dice fragments. You spend them to roll a die and proceed down these pathways, basically. There will be 2 specific duels that are themed around duels from the first season of the GX anime. They will have bonuses for you, or optional bonus objectives for you to possibly complete alongside just winning the duel. And all of this is done to get coins that you spend in the card lottery in hopes of getting the event cards. There's all kinds of other different squares, like these arrows will move you forward that number of spaces, the treasure chests are more bonuses, the books are cutscenes that give you just prizes for landing on them anyway. There's extra duelists, which I really don't like, because all they do is just make you duel more and slow down an already slow event. But aside from that, you also get prizes every time you finish one of these pathways. So specifically, there's 5 pathways in total, and when you get to the end of the last one, you just kind of loop back around for the second one, and you move to the next set of 5 rewards. So for example, your first time through, when you finish the first path, you will get 20 gems. At the end of the second, you get the trap card Anti-Fusion Device, which just destroys a face-up fusion monster on the field. And then you get 3 extra life items. When you finish, when I finish this one, I'll get 20 gems. And then, basically, when you complete one pass through the event, you will get Haman, Lord of Striking Thunder. This is the only way to get this card right now. Much like Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames before him, you basically just have to play in the event to get a copy of it, and they're kind of like the Egyptian gods where you can only ever have one. But basically, Haman the Lord of Striking Thunder is a level 10 light thunder monster with 4,000 attack and 4,000 defense. It cannot be normal summoned or set. It has to be special summoned from your hand by sending 3 face-up continuous spell cards you control to the graveyard, and cannot be special summoned in any other way. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. And when this card is in face-up defense position, monsters your opponent controls cannot target monsters for attacks except for this one. So Haman is an incredibly powerful card, very specific summoning requirements, but unlike Uriah, actually a little bit easier, because Uriah, you have to send 3 continuous trap cards to your graveyard to special summon it. So those you would basically have to set and then wait for your opponent's turn to go through, hope they don't destroy any, then you can activate them, then you can summon Uriah. Haman, you can just play all 3 spells and then immediately get rid of them for it. Haman. But yeah, pretty cool card. I don't know if I'm ever going to use it that much, but I kind of like it regardless. And then there's some other cards, mostly things from previous iterations of Duelist Chronicles GX events. So there's Sabatiel, the Philosopher's Stone. I'm not going to read any of these duplicates because this recording has been dragging on for a while. Winged Kariba level 9, but basically the other new cards are the Supremacy Sun, a level 10 Dark Fiend with 3,000 attack and defense. This card cannot be special summoned except by its own effect. After this face-up card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, could be by battle, could be by card effect. During the standby phase of the next turn, you can discard a card and then special summon it right back. So long as you have cards in your hand, Supremacy Sun is pretty much invincible. And providing your opponent doesn't find a way to banish it instead of just destroying it. But yeah, pretty cool monster. Even though it is a level 10, it doesn't specify that it needs 3 tributes, so it is technically just a 2 tribute monster. I like it. I don't know how much I'm going to use it, but I like it. And then I believe this is the final new card. I'll double check this in the lottery. But we have Plasma Warrior Etam. I think that's how you say it. A level 8 Light Thunder with 3,000 attack and 2,500 defense. Cannot be normal summon set. Must be special summoned from your hand by tributing 1 level 7 monster. This card can attack directly, but when it does so using this effect, the battle damage inflicted to your opponent is halved. Even so, that is 1,500 attack right to the face. I'm sure that there's level 7s that you can pretty easily summon. In fact, I think that annoying, White Dragon Spirit, or whatever it is, that thing that kind of behaves like a Blue Eyes, even though it isn't actually a Blue Eyes, I think that's a level 7 monster. And that thing is annoyingly easy to special summon. So you could play that and then just get rid of it for Plasma Warrior Etam. Lots of options. I'm going to go ahead and just take a peek in the lottery really quick, see if there's something else. So Etam, Electrum's a repeat from previous events, Supremacy Sun. Ojama Muscle technically isn't a repeat event, but I think the only way you could get copies of it before was from either Leveling Up Chaz or maybe from Serious Chaz. I can't remember, so well, I guess that would make it an event. I can't remember where you get it, but that's here. No. So I think it's just Haman, Plasma Warrior, and Supremacy Sun that are the new cards for this event. And that's kind of why I'm being brief with it. Although, that said, that did just occur to me that I don't think I can see it from here, but there are a whole bunch of bonus rewards for this Duelist Chronicles events, specifically because the King of Games part of the event has started. So basically, after a couple of days of the event being out, and providing you have completed, one, for lack of a better term, lap through the event, treasure rooms and the King of Games will unlock. So treasure rooms are special spaces where you land on them and you basically go to a bonus board that is just a load of Millennium Coins for you to collect along your way to a duel. The duel itself will also give you more Millennium Coins than normal, so it's basically a good opportunity to just rack up coins for the lottery. That's really all you can say about the treasure room. But the King of Games, you earn challenge tickets while you just participate in the event, which are these little earn things. And you spend those to duel against the King of Games, which they call him the King of Games, but it's really just a silhouette of Yu-Gi-Moto with a kind of difficult deck. But specifically that duelist, you can duel pretty much at any time. And if you win, you get more prizes. So, yeah, it's just Yu-Gi-Moto. So, to begin with, there are specifically 8 total prizes before it just starts giving out Millennium Coins. The first, second, fourth, and fifth round are all card sleeves, which feature the... Oh, I can't actually look at it here. Can I? Oh, come on. Is it in here somewhere? Hold on. I know I could... You let me look at it before. Okay. Well, I don't know how to check, but basically the 4 card sleeves will have the art from... Oh, good lord, what are they called? H, Heated Heart, E, Emergency Call, R, Righteous Justice, and O, Oversoul. And then that game mat has the artwork for Hero Flash, which is also the name of the new skill that you can unlock for Jade and Yuki by beating the King of Games 3 times. It is a skill that will let you add certain cards to your hand every 2 turns. I don't know the specifics. I can probably just go look at Jaden's skill list and we can read it there. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and do that. Yeah, here we go. So once every 2 of your turns, at the beginning of the turn, add to your hand one of the following cards in the order listed below from outside of your deck. On the second turn, you will get an H Heated Heart, which targets a face-up monster you control. It gains 500 attack, and it can do piercing battle damage until the end phase. On the fourth turn, you get Emergency Call, which will let you search any elemental hero monster from your deck and add it to your hand. R, Righteous Justice, will let you destroy spell and trap cards equal to the number of elemental hero cards you control. O, Oversoul, on turn 8, will let you target any elemental hero normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And then finally, on turn 10, you get Hero Flash, where you have to banish each of the one of the 4 previous cards. Well, one each of the 4 previous cards, so an H, an E, an R, and an O. And you get to special summon any one elemental hero normal monster from your deck, and all elemental hero normal monsters you currently control can attack your opponent directly. And yes, Neos counts because its name is technically Elemental Hero Neos. So this is probably just going to make that deck, that Elemental Hero Neos Fusion deck that relies on that stupidly broken Neos Fusion spell, even more annoying. But yeah, so that's how this new skill works, and with that, that's pretty much all of the important stuff from the Duelist Chronicles GX event. So, and even though I kind of abridged that, it felt like it took a while anyway, so sorry if I got rambly, but yeah. Those are the 2 GX events that are going on right now. Again, there's only a couple of days left, and I do apologize for that, but I just couldn't really find a good time to record up until now, so not much I can do about that. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all had a great time, and I hope you all have a great day. And I will see you all in the next one.